Hello there everyone, this is Mark 3 and welcome back to my little run on Cosmoteer Season 2, which I've been forgetting to say this whole time, but hey, that's why there's S2 in the title, so it is just one of those things. And welcome back to the Grand Shaft, which I have to admit, I can see where the comments were coming from last time. It's like, it does look a bit like a pitchfork, doesn't it? When you look at the corridor layout. But then, if you include the armor, I think it looks more like a short-handled mace or something. I don't really know. Very powerful mace, considering instead of spray it uses railguns, but maybe it is a mace after all. But hey, I'm planning to change that. Quick note is, as you can tell, there's no blips on the radar. There were at the end of last time, and that's because I've run around and actually got a few more credits. So we got about 430,000 just in our war chest right now to do some upgrading. And yeah, that should be good. And it should stop us needing to break off halfway through and go hunting. Because this design does need some changes, let's be fair. Anyway, let us begin though. On the comments, One Eye, you have been giving me a lot to think about actually, because you've been commenting on Discord as well as your comments on the YouTube. Though you and Captain Medstone both went out of your way this time to try and tell me about direct control. So the first thing you guys were saying was I need to go into gameplay, show advanced ship commands, and then that'll show me the extra things, because I was unsure about fanning and using the railguns to pinpoint a certain section with multiple railguns. So this shows me that, like hold X to toggle collision avoidance. Okay. And apparently I need to do Control D to switch to direct control mode. That's something Captain Redstone said, but this is, yeah, it looks a lot busy down here, but at least I can see what the tooltips are. I never knew about that. So Control D, you said? Oh, that's that one there. WASDA, QE, fly the ship. Captain Redstone mentioned this one in particular and said it takes getting used to. And oh yeah, that feels very different. Oh my. Oh, the guns are actually tracking my... Ooh, the guns tracking my weapon systems too. But then I think I'd need like hotkeys to control the railguns then, wouldn't I? Or something. But that's nice. Right, if I'm going to be honest, I think I'm going to go along the lines of the people that you mentioned later in the comments, which is like that even some players in the regular tournaments and things, they still prefer to use like R click for turning precision and stuff like that. Oh, tutorial on direct control mode. Yep, got it. Okay, but yeah, I think I prefer it's like mouse click weaponry functioning as the ship flies itself a little bit. Probably because my ship isn't that responsive, but hey, there you go. Anyway, sorry. Let's see. One Eye. I'm not intentionally skipping this stuff, but as I just explained the gist of part of your comment, and Captain Redstone as well. One Eye, you say, as for rail fanning, yes, you would have to use the rotation R commands to fan your rails. It said quantity of rails is more effective than quality of rails, so being able to fan 4+ rails to one spot can be very powerful. I can see exactly where you're coming from with that, yes. Without rail fanning, having a few railguns would not be very more than a few railguns would not be very effective due to how to spread out the damages. Yeah, I've been experiencing that as we've been going along, if I'm going to be honest. I can't look back and forth. I need to focus on reading the comments. Sorry about that. You guys get to stare at the blueprint for a few moments. Right. How to spread out the damages? Yeah. I've been commenting on that, I think, ever since I installed the railguns, because I was regretting not having a central single railgun. But then, last bit from One Eye is, if you're looking for weapons that you don't have to micro much, then high explosive HE missiles are a great option. Strong point, thank you. And actually, something I could be doing is, yeah, I've wandered back down to South Galaxies, as I could maybe hit up a really weak enemy sector. There aren't any around here, really. It's all professionals and veterans. There's only a few professionals left, which are left alone here. So maybe I should go to a new galaxy and just go munch on some people or something. Let's jump all the way over here. That's kind of expensive, but hey, it is what we're going to do. So at least something's happening in the background. That's going to be better, I think. So yeah, that was it for those comments. So one eye did come on and give me a very tasty blueprint on the Discord, which actually gave me some insights into how you guys were laying out a more professional, I guess you could say, configuration. You know, like getting rooms laid out and corridors and connections and all that kind of thing. So that was actually very helpful, because one thing I didn't pick up from the from watching the monthly tournament was how the rooms and things were laid out, because it never really showed a good close-up of the ship designs. It was like more of a zoomed-out overview in approach to every entry. So yeah, that's one thing I missed out on when looking at that. And another little tidbit is something about ion crystals, which I also wasn't aware of. If we go into the build menu really quickly, don't worry, I will get on with this. Ion prisms, I wouldn't have thought to look for this until one I mentioned it, that like 2 beams of equal power into 1 is the optimum for an ion beam prism. And that's because, as you can see here in the stats, there is a 25% damage reduction per additional beam after the first. So, yeah, basically the less beams from merging is better. So that's fine and makes sense to me. And I will be abusing that, because today I actually plan to add in an ion cannon system to my design. At least that's the general idea, as my ship quite happily goes and chews on things in the background. Right. Yeah, the last part is, if I'm looking for a weapon you don't have to micro much, then high explosive HE missiles are a great option. I agree, and missiles was always kind of in the cards for this design as one of its options for weaponry. That was generally the plan, so I'm not being forced into that in any way. Captain Redzone, on to your comment, good sir. If the ship doesn't automatically point towards the parts you're targeting... Yes, thank you. That is actually a very good clarification, which I misrepresented, I think, because I thought that was the case with how my railguns were acting, but it wasn't. So, yeah, it's better to be clear, I think. I can't believe my ship took 29 space credits of damage against easy enemies. I am ashamed. I should commit seppuku immediately, or not. It's easy money. Oh dear. Let's go and hit these guys up net at Aaron 5. That'll do. Okay. Need to rotate using R. Holding control to select parts instead of ships. I didn't know control was the override. I knew you could shift click to queue your orders, but I didn't know control was an override as well. I'll have to try that, I suppose. Let's go over here and try that. Press control to target a specific block rather than a ship itself. Oh. Well, that lasted long. But honestly, wait, I'm a bit confused about that one. How good is control, considering I'm moving towards the ship and targeting anyway? I can just go onto the mini-map representative up here and go, I want to target that one, that one, that one. It's like, what does control do exactly? I'm not entirely sure. Oh dear. Though you went on to explain about like the rails offset, I want to angle my ship to aim them properly, and that kind of thing. So thank you very much for that. The next thing is, you mentioned, as I showed earlier, what the heck's going on? Oh, I think I just charged past this guy by accident. That's not too bad. Okay. Yes, Control D to toggle the thing. Show advanced ship controls. No, direct control is very different. Yeah, this is the part that I covered earlier. And as I said, I will probably be using R-click slash R-click, just like controlling like this, and then using R to strafe my my ship around if I need to. Strafe, angle. Sorry, that isn't strafing. That's just angling it. But I can see why some people would like to directly control their ships, though. Very much so. Moving on, Mr. Polar Bear. Welcome to the channel. You subscribed right before you posted this comment, I saw. So yes, welcome indeed. Props to me for looking at the tournament. And yeah, Bounty Hunter. Too much specialization is bad because there will always be one odd ship that can ruin your strategy. Yeah, we saw that very aptly put into practice last time, didn't we, where I got blown up. I knew your name looked very familiar as soon as I saw it, but I wasn't quite sure, so I went and popped back to the tournament again, actually, after I saw your comment pop up, and it's like, you were very active in the comments, I saw. So, yeah. Welcome, welcome. It's always nice to have a new face around here. Thank you. Dammer, you said, I think 2 side-mounted missile launchers along the long corridor could do wonders for the ship. I agree. I plan to install more than 2. And honestly, I'm not going to copy the blueprint, I think. Because, well, partly because it's asymmetrical, but as I said, it gave me a lot of wonderful thoughts about things to do. But HE missiles are going to be installed on this thing. Ben. Very quick shout out to Ben, by the by. Very patient about this. But Ben actually commented on the previous part. Wait, no. All the comments I've been saying so far on the previous part. Oh, I misspoke. Ben commented on the part before the previous part, but because I actually clicked in to get to the comments by selecting his comment, because it was the most recent one, it actually highlighted and got to the top of the list, so I put it out, so I scrolled down a little so I get to everyone in order, or try to, and then I forgot to scroll back up, so I thought I'd got all the comments, but I actually missed Ben, so sorry about that. The main thing about Ben's comment is that would like to see a big battery of electro bolts as a secondary weapon. And honestly, that is not a bad way to go. Electro bolts, well, they don't do much damage, but they make shields do the disappearing act, honestly. And they have a nasty habit of depowering open rooms that they strike. So thrusters, weapon systems, storages, shields if they impact the shield system directly, or just hit the shield in general. Electro bolts are such wonderful things. The only drawback is that they're kind of bulky, and they actually draw power really quick. I actually went doing a quick look before the episode, so if we use Alt we can see. The basic laser power use is 0.27 per second. The heavy laser is 0.89. Electro bolts are 0.5. Actually, that's not as bad as I thought. Hang on. 0.89. 0.5. Yeah, that's not bad. Why was I... Oh. It's because I was thinking that that seemed a bit odd for the endurance of the heavy lasers versus electro bolt. Heavy laser actually stores twice as much power. So yeah. Electro bolt only stores 4 power packs, drains at 0.5 per second. So it's only got enough power in it to fire for 8 seconds before it runs dry. So a bank of these could be very handy, but I just think it's like they can be a bit tough to manage depending on how you got your ship arranged. Very useful, but not quite what I'm looking for at this stage, if I'm going to be honest. Definitely worth revisiting though. Maybe I'll install some electro bolts anyway, just for the heck of it, and abruptly do a 180 on that. What I've just said wouldn't surprise me, if I'm honest. Oh dear. Anyway, I did apologise for that, and Ben was quite understanding. He's just happy that I responded at all. That's what he said, but that's why I'm making a point to mention here that I did make that mistake, so I'm sorry. As to this particular episode, though, Ben says, make sure all crew prioritise putting out fires. You disabled that for the gunnery crew. It is actually a fair point. And I've disabled it for the gunnery crew because I was never intending to have the gunnery crew be very much of the crew. Like, just those two rooms is enough to generally keep the railguns stocked up and working. But, yeah, that is something I should fix as a just-in-case measure, isn't it? Behaviours. Oh, here's something else, by the way. An old tip, back from when I was first doing a series, I think it is. And that is like, you know how to click through on the gunnery crews to set everything to 0 because I didn't want them doing anything like that? I forgot that you can make a zeroed out thing. I read this somewhere at some point. I never really messed with the crew though, but somewhere I remembered it. Like, set one like this, and then you can just copy the role and make something specialized. But I should definitely do this, and I'll do this on the blank one too, because this one's all zeros. But I want you to... That's the thing. Fire extinguishers. Put that to a pretty solid 9. And yeah, I'll do that for the gunnery crews as well. Because if the fire's raging out of control, then honestly, you want everyone you can getting on that. So it's a very strong point. Battery mules, 9. So yeah, ahead of point defense system. Point defense system, by the way, I had a look, and they have enough power in them to fire for 2 seconds, and then they run dry. It's like they have such low endurance. That's why they kept tapping out in the last episode. Don't worry, we're almost through the comments. I've spent like I've spent about half the episode now just answering comments and faffing around. Hey, that's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? Fair. Okay, let's get ourselves vertically lined up, and we'll be doing building for the rest of it. So, next up is Lollard. Hello, Lollard, my good friend. Lollard says, no, but where did I ever say anything about armor? This is... I think the miscommunication here, Lollard, is just that it's like, we also talked on the Discord, and we talked a little bit on voice chat, and it's like, this particular conversation went on in like 3 different places at least. So... It's not surprising it got a bit tangled up, if I'm going to be entirely honest. But yeah, it's like, yeah. Lol is also saying, by the way, just to get missiles in the back are better, though he was saying lasers earlier, now he's saying missiles. And he goes on to say, and yes, 1 small one for so much engine is not enough, but 2 each direct next to the engine room will help. Polar Bear, you stepped in there. Thank you very much for your attempt to translate for it. Polar Bear's translation is, 1 small thruster won't do much, but putting them next to an engine rooms make them much more effective. Basically, if possible, use engine rooms also because they automatically transfer power to thrusters, less crew is needed. That is entirely true, and I will quickly comment on that, saying that it's like, for a small bank of thrusters like this, it's not really worth anything in terms of crew efficiency. Plus, there's the cost of the engine room too. But got to remember, engine rooms have 2 crew stationed permanently, so that is something to remember. And also, it's a 50% boost to every thruster next to them. That's why they're so good in a bigger engine bank. Sadly, though, I'm afraid that I think Lollard was like saying that 1 small reactor is not enough, because that's what I was talking about last time. This small reactor keeps tapping out of power because it's trying to feed all these when I'm in movement, and it's not enough. So that's what I think Lollard was meaning, like, do 2 of those. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Yes, indeed. The meat and potatoes of this particular thing, which is going to be modifying the build. Da-da-da-da. And I immediately mess it up. Go me. I'm just going to start by cutting the engine nacelles off, and I'm going to move them across by 2. Oh, that's a comment as well. Auto door placement was apparently something we could turn off. I'm guessing it's in the settings. Someone mentioned that. Someone did mention that. Is it in the ship editor? Overwrite existing parts. Grab leaves corridors. No. Ah, those auto add doors. No. Okay. Right, let's get back to it. So, moving the engine pods out a little bit. Oh, yay, it didn't put down the thing. And I will add... Well, I'll actually move the reactor out, and I'll actually add in a second one. And I'll put it like there, forward. So that leaves a convenient power room to grab the things from. Jolly good. And we'll continue with things as I press the wrong keys and make a general faff of it. Okay. One thing I would actually like to note, which only really occurred to me this time around, is you know how we were talking about like placements and things. There was a comment time before last, like about I didn't need that because crew are not going in and out regularly on those. I think for optimum use of a duel, because the way that they keep speed, like the game, it's like the speed is the last place you came off. So if they leave these conveyors going in the right direction, they get the double speed boost. If they leave the conveyor going in the wrong direction, then they get the crossing penalty, which is a 75% speed. So I think for optimum, when people are going to come off it a lot, like I think here, because this is a high traffic kind of area, and this bit here as well, like getting power to the shield generators. Maybe a blank corridor there on the exit point of that. So they come off here, they go that way. They go across here, get into that. This one, do I want that one to have a penalty getting across to that side? They don't need access to that side really that much. Oh, actually, there's an electro bolt there. Never mind, I told a lie. They do need access to that area. So that would be a better point to have two. They need quick access to either side here as well, actually, so do that with two as well. That's not a good example. I think the centerline corridor is actually a good example, though, for whatever I'm waffling on about. Like, in this, it's like people are coming up quickly, but they don't need to get up as fast as they need to come back to get onto a different task. So here I'll just do that and make it easier for them to get off the system to get in to feed the railguns and things. And then with this, it's easier to get onto it and then just go whee all the way back down to where all the supply rooms and the reactors are and stuff like that. So, you know, just make it a bit easier in general. At least that's my quote-unquote thinking. What's my efficiency at? 92. Let's double up on the power rooms too. Let's do that. Okay, engine bay is being enlarged. Next up, this entire reactor section here. I think I made a mistake with it, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm actually going to cut out the entire bit here. So we've lost the entire rear section, and I'm going to move the entire thing back by, let's say 2. Why am I doing this? Because remember, the reactor counts as a full room, so it's got a 50% speed penalty to everything. Oops, cancel, no, wrong button. It's got that 50% speed penalty involved. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to curve I'm going to curve the thing. Actually, I'm going to move that down there. Yeah, like that. So it's actually a bit of a penalty zone. I think, actually, yeah, let's move. Let's go a bit further and provide more faster access in general. Don't mind me. I know what I'm doing. Me am professional. Yeah, me am professional personage. Also, I like to delude myself. There we go. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually rig this up for a bit faster travel route. I was going to do it like just one way around the entire thing, which would actually be more space efficient, but it's like I had some second thoughts on it a little bit. It would be better still, wouldn't it? Look at me, I'm being so decisive right now. Oh, yes. But it's like, oops. It's like, I think that was me being over enthusiastic. Because I was trying to put in room to get to like a double row conveyor all the way around. And it's like, it doesn't need it, does it? At least I don't think it does. I'm going to leave that a little bit of extra space, but it's like let's give it enough room to get to and from everywhere it might need to go. You know? And yes, I know this is going to be a massive fire hazard, but it's like, oh well, so what? I know that's what you want to hear when someone's discussing fire safety. It's like, so what? Not the best thing to hear, is it? But it's like I'm trying to just remove like sources of speed reduction. So, but at least a single corridor. The only speed penalty that should be involved there is if it actually has like is if there's too many people. Because if you have too many people, there is actually a speed penalty in there as well, which is something you do need to be aware of if it's a high traffic area. So, in which case, a dual setup is better. I think it just depends on how many people you have, honestly. Anyway, moving on. I said I wanted to install an ion system here. Well, I didn't say where I was going to put it, but I want to install an ion system this time around. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a leaf out of what I saw in that tournament. So yes, I've been corrupted by the tournament. And I'm going to install a pair of ions there. And if I'm guessing this right, it's like I could do it like that, I guess. Need to test this weapon configuration slightly, so I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking with it. Now, if what I saw in the tournament is accurate, I should be able to do it like this. That should work, right? Because remember when I said like two beams merging is the most efficient because it gets steadily worse after that. So that's what I'm going to try out here. I'm going to look at power supply and things as we go, but it's like I do need more crew as well, actually. Okay, so the idea is that 2 goes into 1, and then these guys are going to link forward. And here's why I'm testing, because I don't know if that's going to block that one. But that's the general idea. So, let's do some test firing. I want that mode, yes. Okay, good. That isn't actually affecting it at all. So I did guess right in the placement. And that's going to merge together and be ready to go. Excellent. Though, as you saw, power supply is going to be an issue, and crewing is going to be an issue. We need more crew space. Oops, no. I want that. Right. So, that's going to be a thing. That's going to be my configuration. And then I think I want to see if I can do... Yes. A 2-to-1 angle. I think that's where it wants to be. Or is that... good enough? Okay. So that's the thing. So as you can see, I'm going to make some alterations. Now my plan continues is I'm going to widen the head. And then up here at the front, I'm going to have an additional focusing crystal, which is where this thing's going to aim at. So about... Okay, good. Okay, good. I can see exactly where it's aiming. Right. So I need to put an ion beam directly on its path, which is going to be there, if I can do it that far back. Or if I move it further forward, where I'd want it to be, to have a clearer line of fire. There should be good. And let's make sure this is mounted in very, very secure fashion. There we go. Nothing's ever going to happen to that. Not ever. And then you are aimed at that. Jolly good. Armoring is available, so that's why that's there. So that is like a 4-beam ion array, focused up, and then this is going to be the final aim point. So this is going to be 2 cutting beams, which can just angle in on the target and slash into it from both sides, since there's 2 arrays. Of course, as you see, power supply is definitely an issue, but That's going to be worked on. I think maybe another big reactor back here would probably be a smart move, if I'm going to be honest. And better crew access and more crew as well. But it's like, this is why we're tinkering. This is why we're working. Let's go ahead and grab that entire section. And actually, I think maybe rather than the two smaller reactors, I'll just install another big reactor back here, now that I'm thinking about it. Though, admittedly, I also want to get missile banks and things back here as well, so maybe better be to future-proof it and just move it back all the way down here. Yeah, that's the quote-unquote sensible thing. Make the ship much bigger. If in doubt, make it bigger. Go big or go home. Yes. Because there's always room for more firepower. More DACA. Definitely. That is actually something I would note that I've not honestly seen much of in the tournament. Not that I'm disparaging tournament designs. I know there's definitely a reason for it, but it's like the tournaments do use things like all these angled slopes and things, but they don't actually, apart from merging the beams together, I've not really seen any designs active in this month's, or is it last month's? Last month's, must be. Last month's tournament that actually made use of ion crystals for final beam aiming. I suspect that the reason for that is conventional wisdom dictates they are actually very vulnerable and hard to armor. Because the defensive options on most of those ships was like sheer slabs of armor. So that's something I spotted from this as well. It's like if you're sure you're going to take damage and it's a one-on-one combat situation kind of thing, then slabs of armor is something is desirable for your ship, just to help protect it. Anyway, let's get back down here, and we will do the thing. As I forget I'm not in build mode. We'll do the thing, and I'm going to reshuffle things a little bit. I'm going to actually let's put the FTL drives where those reactors are. Then I'm going to install a new reactor motorus. I think there. Yeah, that's nice. I'm also going to, for my convenience and probably to frustrate my crew, just invert the conveyor lines. Like that. And then I'm going to leave it as a blank corridor there. So there is a quick access point. I actually want crew to get out of the reactor really super fast. So I think extending the line to meet the reactor is probably the best move there. Yes, indeed. And then I'm going to add some more crew spaces, like I guess there and there, with a moving walkway, just like rapid egress from the crew space into the main thoroughfare. Just so they can quickly get out there to respond to any kind of job that they might need to get to. I guess like that, yep. So really fast and in interest of speed, blanket, so everyone can get out of there if they need to. And then I'll just add a couple of doors there as well for people getting back in. So that's like faster access for a couple of big crew bays, just let people move around a bit more easily. Big power reactor at the back, I need to remember those doors there. So people can get down there, then quickly get to the engine rooms. It's like all trying for efficiency. And that's one of the things I took away from the missile blueprint I was shown. It's like these individual gaps can help a lot for quicker access, rather than having rooms and things taking up everything. Though this little thing here is just my own little take on it. This little fast egress for people going to work. Speaking of, I will actually install like some corridor accesses here. And I think moving walkway for rapid access to the further out ones as well, just because I'm probably going overboard on this. But that should help, just help getting things supplied a little bit better. I think access point there, access point there. Yeah. Looks nice and dangerous to me. Probably doesn't look too good for any professionals, but hey, I do my thing. I do what I want and I like what I do, to quote Papa Smurf himself. I must admit, I've been binge watching Emperor, if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, in the last few days amidst bouts of insomnia, so it's like, keep myself entertained and distracted and try not to get too depressed about it. And as a result, it's like, I've watched the entire series again, and I'm actually wanting to do it again. So make of that what you will, honestly. Okay, I'm going to have to call it there, though, I'm afraid, because we are actually out of time. But here's my thoughts. I'm going to reinforce these areas here. So these things are not going to be sticking out like this, just like all willy-nilly unprotected or anything like that, because that would be kind of silly on my part, if I'm going to be honest. But I'm going to reinforce these with shield and arm plates, so they have probably about 50 degree, 60 degree firing arc forward. So plenty of cutting action towards anything in this general area. And that's going to be shielded. They're probably going to mount some more weapon systems and things. And there's going to be more engines as well because, oops, I forgot the doors. Not because I forgot the doors, but there's going to be more engines and things regardless. Just because I do want to increase the maneuverability a bit. Though we don't know what the I don't know what the maneuverability is right now, but I have just added a bunch of weight and I plan to add more. So that is definitely a thing. Okay. But I'm also going to redesign these engine pods as well as getting more weapon systems and things. Maneuvering seems to be going okay, but now it's looking... I don't know what it looks like right now, honestly. It looks like a bit like a cattle prod, I suppose. Still turning okay, but as I said, it's still work in progress. But hey, we've got lasers now. But yeah, I don't know how this thing's going to shape up. But the plan is like this missile systems are going to start going in here, and I'll probably move the entire head section forward to get more room as the length of the ship increases. But yeah, I should stop waffling and say okay there, since I am past the half hour and getting towards 40 minutes again. Oh well. This has been Iron Mark V. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying the show, and I'll catch you all some other time. Yes. See you all later.